Hi, this is Ron Finkelstein with the Business Growth Experience. Every company, every business owner has to deal with the primary process of how do I grow sales? How do I create a measurable, repeatable, predictable process that allows me to know that sales are going to happen? And that's what this video is all about. But we have to start one step before that and understand our customers. So let's get started and understand the very critical aspect of marketing that we have to deal with. If we don't understand this one issue, there's not a lot we can do. The first thing that happens in today's marketplace is the rapid and accelerated pace of change. Things are happening so quickly that it's almost impossible to keep up with them. This is especially true in technology and healthcare. Every day I turn around, I read something new about a new product, a new enhancement, a new iPhone, a new operating system. It's just incredible. Same with medicine, new procedures, new costs, new doctors, new insurance policies. In business, it's the same way. Companies are going out of business and they're growing and they're merging and there's acquisitions, and it's just very difficult to keep up with it. Because of this accelerated and rapid pace of change, the primary issue that we have to address in a nutshell is, how can you trust us? How do I know that you know what you tell me you know? And that's really the purpose of this part of the presentation, is really understanding your customer and understanding your customer's problems. Because once you have this down, you can really stop selling and just teach your customers or your prospects how to buy from you. So let's look at this in a little bit more detail. Watson Wyatt did a report that said that 61% of the people who work for a company do not trust their senior leaders. They also say that they believe the firm, 76% believe the firm is involved in something illegal, immoral, and unethical. Now, I basically believe people are trustworthy, but I believe because of the rapid pace of change and things happening so quickly that trust is at an all-time low. As demonstrated by this same survey that said only 34% of Americans believe others can be trusted. So if we go under the premise that people are basically trustworthy and they have your best intentions at heart, the question is, how do we convey to them that we are in fact the safe, best, and right choice for them? Well, first we have to understand the rules have changed. The old rules of business were it was about having a lot of money, it's about seniority, big is better, traditional industry ruled, and owning your means of production. This comes from my book, 49 Marketing Secrets That Work to Grow Sales, that was contributed by Terry Brock. And if we look at the rubber companies, for example, it took a lot of money to get started in the rubber industry. I remember in the 80s, when you look for a job in the rubber industry, if you had more than 2 jobs in 15 years, you were considered a job hopper and they didn't want to hire you. It was about people who stayed at one job for a long, long time. It was about union, it was about following the rules. And obviously bigger the better, because you can push down prices and control your supply chain. But the rules have changed. It's about ideas now, and it's about results. Bottom line is companies are looking for partners that they can work with who can deliver. It's about how fast you can deliver. It's about what kind of ideas that you can come up with that's going to help them be unique and get results faster. And with the access of websites like Odesk and Elance, outsourcing is the rule. We don't have to own the whole process. We just need to know how to outsource it. But there's 2 things that are consistent. The first is that principles matter. No matter the delivery vehicle, people want to know that you're a person of ethics, that you're trustworthy, that you're the kind of person that will deliver on what they say. That's incredibly important in a business relationship. But relationships are also critical too, and this is getting really confusing because relationships mean different things to different people. For some people, it's a matter of sitting across the table face to face and shaking hands and getting to know them. For other people, if they have 1,000 friends on Facebook, those are considered relationships. If they're following 20,000 people on Twitter, those are considered relationships. And then you have everything in between. So understanding what a relationship is to your prospects, your suspects, and your clients is just as important as understanding them. Now, what happens if you don't follow these new rules that we just talked about? Well, the bottom line, businesses fail. According to SCORE, 78% fail because they don't have a good business plan, a well-developed business plan. 77% don't know how to price, 73% are overly optimistic, 70% ignore problems, or if they see the problem, they choose not to do anything about it, and 64% don't know how to market. Now, these are all problems that I see every day with my clients, and they're typically different variations of the problem. I remember when I first started my business, I was really overly optimistic. I really thought with my background and my skill set and my 25 years of experience, people would see my product and service and come banging at my doors. It was a real wake-up call for me when that didn't happen. And that's how this whole process came about. When I solved those problems for me, I knew that I had an opportunity to solve them for a lot of businesses as well. But here's what business owners need. They need a place where they can go and develop a convincing sales presentation, one that teaches your prospects how to buy from you and takes you out of that selling mode. Nobody wants to be a sales rep and nobody wants to be sold to, but everybody wants to buy. Once you get that down, we'll shorten the sales process and we'll close more deals, and we'll get you in front of the right people through the creation of effective marketing strategies. And that could be anywhere from the internet to network marketing to direct mail. The end result is that you're going to boost revenue and profit. And as you learn your prospects, you're going to radically improve your ability to influence them, in addition to your employees and other important people in your life. Now, here's the big challenge that I see, is that there's 6 questions your prospects want you to answer before they buy from you. And we don't always do that. When we're talking about our product or service, we're talking about us and how good we are and how much value we provide. But very rarely do we literally step out of our shoes and look at it from our prospect's perspective. Question number 1, what do you do? Looks pretty simple on the surface, but it's really not. If we're in a networking event and somebody approaches you and say, what do you do? The typical answer is, I'm a coach, a consultant, an accountant, a financial planner, a CPA. They start listing off titles, or they start listing off things about how they do things. Being an accountant and a CPA is how you do it, not what you do. The real question here is, what will I experience in working with you so that I have a reason to know more about how you do it? So if you're an accountant, for example, you might say something like, we make the numbers understandable so that you can achieve the business results that you want. And we do that through accounting services, for example. As a financial planner, it might be something like, we build, protect, and transfer wealth. And those are a couple of the examples we work through with my clients. The next part of that is, when you tell me what you do, tell me why that's important to me. If you tell me that you build, protect, and transfer wealth, what does that mean to me? Well, it depends on where you are in the building process, obviously, but it could be something as simple as if you're building wealth, we'll teach you safe strategies that you can accumulate wealth so that you can create the ideal life. If you've already built your wealth and you want to protect it, then more than likely you're looking at something along the lines of having a very comfortable retirement. And if you want to transfer your wealth, you're looking at ways to transfer most of your assets so your children can get a great head start. Those are examples. Don't just tell me what you do, but tell me why it's important to me. The other thing is, why should I care? I use the Platinum Rule for this. It's a book that I wrote called The Platinum Rule for Small Business Mastery with Dr. Alessandra and Scott Zimmerman. And there's 4 styles. There's 4 types of people. And one of them just want to know why it's safe. Another one wants to know how you're going to make them more effective and productive. Another one wants to know how you're going to make them right. And another one wants to know how you're going to make them look good. What we're trying to do is engage them emotionally first, because once they're engaged emotionally, as we engage them intellectually, they'll start selling themselves. So the answers to your questions need to tell them why you're the safe choice and how you're going to make them more effective and productive, and why you are the right choice, and how good they're going to look working with you. Now, question number 4 is a little more difficult, and it's a bit of an intimidating question when you first look at it. What do you do better than anyone else in the world? Now, that's not as daunting as it sounds, because there is no one else like you. And what you've really got to do is understand who you are, what you do better than anybody else, and what the value is to me if I were to hire you and work with you. Let's look at a couple of examples that might be useful. If you have an internet marketing business, for example, and everybody charges for product shipment and you ship for free, that's pretty unique. It could be something like Amazon doing one-click. I buy a lot of stuff and I go to Amazon specifically for one-click because I can just one click of a button get it done. I don't have to keep entering my credit card information. But they go one step further and they ask me for permission to turn on one-click, which I really like. If we look at Southwest Airlines, bags fly free. That's really all they do. Well, they do a lot more than that, but that's what they've been really promoting, and I've flown on Southwest many times because of that, especially if I have multiple legs in a business trip. I don't want to pay bag fees 3 or 4 times if I'm making 4 stops in one trip. Some people offer a free trial. One of the products that I have, I offer a 1-month free trial. If you're not happy, just return the materials. Ford. Who would have ever thought that Ford would have higher quality than Honda and Toyota? It's interesting because I just bought my daughter a Ford Fusion, and quality played a key role in that decision. That's why I'm so aware of it. And then GM has OnStar. So from a business perspective, you can see that it's really getting clear about what you are. But if you're not a big company, what is it that you do better than anybody else? Some people just listen better. Some people respond better. Some people have great follow-up. They have great customer service. But it's not having great customer service. It's defining what great customer service is to your client. I'll return calls in 2 hours, email in 24 hours. Doesn't matter. You just got to define the rules because that's what your customers want to know. Question number 5. This is really taking the first 5 questions and saying, okay, I understand what you're doing. Now, let's move it into the logical mind here. Are you going to make me more money? Are you going to save me more money? Are you going to give me free time? Are you going to create value? For some people, creating value could be creating value in their business. It could be creating value in their personal life. It purely is an individual decision. So you've got to be prepared to answer those kind of questions and tell them up front. We're going to simplify your business. And when we simplify your business, for example, that will result in you saving a lot of time, which will result in making you more money, as an example. And then the last question is prove it. You've talked about some really nice things about what you do and why it's important to me and why you're different and how you're going to create value. But if you can't prove it, then what value is there really? And you can prove it a couple of different ways. You can have the expert credentials. For example, I've written 4 books, 30 years of business experience. For some people, the books are very important. If you're in a networking relationship or someone introduces you into an account, the relationship they have with that person is transferred to you, so you don't have as much burden of proof to deal with. Proof, a good typical social proof, is have you gotten results for others? And if that track record of proof goes on over time, then you've gone a long way towards putting a person's mind at ease. Endorsements and testimonials. We've got some phenomenal endorsements from all of our books. My marketing book, 49 Marketing Secrets at Work, when I was pre-selling that, a guy actually picked up the phone and called me and he wanted to order a copy. And I asked him why, and he goes, because J. Conrad Livingston endorsed this book. And if he endorses it, I read everything he endorses. So that is an example of how the power of an endorsement can work. And then finally, it just makes sense. When you answer these 6 questions and you build your selling process around, your sales process around answering these 6 questions for your prospects, what's going to happen is it's just going to make sense. And I call that kitchen sink logic. You're just sitting around the kitchen and you're talking and it just makes sense. So the answer to these questions, when you really flesh them out, become the content for your sales presentation. You can build your whole sales process around it. They become content for your website and brochures and flyers. Because in reality, what we're asking you to do is look at things from your customer's perspective and not from yours. And here's the tough part with that. You can't do it by yourself. We are so close to ourselves that we can't look and say, this is what I do well, but we have to surround ourselves with people and ask the questions of people who are going to give us honest feedback. Sometimes it's from a customer and you say, why did you hire me? And don't settle for the answer because I like you or you're a nice guy. That's great that you like me and I'm a nice guy, but what did you experience when you work with me? Sometimes you just got to put together a group of business owners and have them help you as you will help them. But the key is to step away from yourself and look at yourself the way others look at you. Now, what does this all mean? here's how we solve the problem. We have a product called the Business Growth Experience, and that's a little bit of a misnomer because the Business Growth Experience is really 3 products in one. But the bottom line is it helps individuals grow, prosper, and get the results that they desire. The emphasis is to grow sales, increase revenue and profits, shorten the sales cycle, and radically improve your ability to influence others. And the Business Growth Experience, as I mentioned, really has 3 possible segments to it for an individual. One is that we have a peer group. Think of it as a mastermind group on steroids, where it's a proven process that's been in existence for 10 years and it just works. It's a very powerful process. For some people that don't have time to fit into a group coaching program, or just are not group people, or they have a need to get results faster, personal coaching is also available. And for those larger projects, we do business consulting as well. Now, here's some of the problems that we've helped companies, business owners with. First is create additional revenue streams. And many times that's as simple as just creating a sales process so the prospect understands the rules under which they're buying, because they want to buy, they just don't know the rules. And if they don't know the rules, what happens is they don't do anything. So your biggest competitor is not someone in your industry. Your biggest competitor is complacency. Many business owners they're bombarded with data. They just need somebody who's going to give them intelligent, objective feedback. Somebody that they can call and trust and know that they're going to get the straight scoop on what's going on. Many of them are pulled in 1,000 different directions, and they're not getting anything done because they're either trying to do too much or none of the ideas are particularly fleshed out. And then we'll help you improve your ability to influence others, and that could be employees, that could be customers, that could be partners, that could be suppliers, depending on where you need some help with. And then finally, if so desired, we'll hold you accountable for getting the results that you need to get. Now, the reason the program works is it's based on 3 books that I've written. The first one is 9 Principles for Inspired Action. And what that is I ran a business conference for 5 years. And over the 5 years, I distilled the 9 behaviors that successful business owners implement in their business. And it took me a while to really understand them. But what we do that's different is that we drive behaviors, because we know that if we drive the right behaviors, we're going to get the correct results. A lot of other people focus on getting the results. We focus on the behaviors, and that's a big differentiator for us. We have 49 marketing secrets that work to grow sales. I went around the country and asked business owners what they did to be successful, and that's what's in there. And then the Platinum Rule for Small Business Mastery is our management leadership book. We talk about how to influence others through the Platinum Rule, and the Platinum Rule is defined as treating others the way they want to be treated. The assumption behind the Business Growth Experience is that you really need multiple minds and multiple experiences, because things are so complex. And it's impossible to be an expert in all things. When multiple minds come together, you're far smarter, more effective, and more efficient than any single mind or experience. And what that really means to you is better and safer decisions are made faster. Now, why does it work? Well, as I mentioned, we drive the behaviors. We focus on a return on investment. It's proven. We've been doing it for about 10 years now. We provide objective feedback. You work on what's important to you, and we'll hold you accountable. Many times as business owners, you hold your employees accountable, but who holds you accountable? Unless you have a large company with a board of directors that you report to monthly or quarterly, there's no one to hold you accountable. Some of the problems we've solved, they range from marketing strategies to internet strategies to sales process, employee retention, hiring and firing, succession planning, buying and selling companies. The list is endless. It effectively deals with anything that you need to deal with that allow you to increase revenue and profits. Now, here's what a lot of people can expect when they go through our program, is that they're going to deliver a very different kind of sales presentation, which will result in you shortening your sales process and closing more deals. And then once you really get clear on who your customer is by answering those 6 questions, really cool marketing, internet, and sales strategies can evolve. The end result is that you'll boost revenue and profits. Now, here's what you can expect personally. This is interesting to me because somebody came into my group and I offer him a free trial, and he asked everybody why they were there. And we just had a discussion of why people participated, and it was really powerful for me because none of this was in my original marketing strategy, but they said they grow personally and professionally, and they mentioned how good they feel because they know that they're making the right decisions, they're getting the right message because they've already tested it before they went to the market. But more importantly, they experience a lot of satisfaction, they being other business owners, by helping others while they're helping themselves. Now, let me give you some examples of what people experience. This is Joanne DePiro. She has a cleaning company. Her commercial business was up 1,200%. Her retail business was up 30% in 90 days. She gets 16 new clients in a month without any advertising money. Richard Henry, he helped me develop this process many, many years ago. And here's what he said. He goes, it's like Alcoholics Anonymous for the business owner. I come in, discuss my problems, mistakes, challenges, and opportunities, and get positive and constructive feedback. I walk out of each meeting feeling great. Joanne Wetzel, she's changed how she does business and the way she thinks. Jeff Kinsey. Jeff joined me, and after 4 months he liked the process so much he licensed it from me and teaches his clients the same thing. He had 1,000% return on investment in 4 months. Dave Vespoli had a 40% increase in revenues in 6 months. And I could go on and on and on. I'm not trying to brag. These are people who follow the process, and the reason they got results is because they followed the process. And for some people, they're stuck. And in this particular case, an associate really got stuck, and we had to help him through some really, really tough times in his life. So, as a thank you for listening to this presentation, if you go to businessgrowthexperience.com, you'll be presented with an opt-in box, and you'll receive a 38-page white paper that answers the 6 questions your prospects want you to answer before they buy from you. My gift, there's no obligation. It really fleshes out many of the concepts we talked about in this presentation, and it takes it one step further and gives you a process that you can begin to follow to understand and start building the answers to those questions. If I can help you in any way, please call me. My number is 330-990-0788. Again, 330-990-0788. And my email address is ron@businessgrowthexperience.com. ron@businessgrowthexperience.com. And again, the website is businessgrowthexperience.com. Please go download your free ebook. My gift to you as a thank you for listening to this presentation.